We'll start to. Okay. We'll start today's meeting with an invocation from Bart King and then the pledge and four-way test by Jason Hulse.
God gives us opportunities to witness to Him in many different ways. And actually, saying a prayer to the Rotary Club is a way of witnessing for God. I want to share something with you that's interesting to me. We don't always take the opportunity to tell people who God is in our lives. But my phone rang a while ago, potential spam, and I thought, that's interesting. I'll answer it. And I answered it. And the guy said he was with the cancer organization. That a cancer organization, young man with an accent. He said, he went on with his pitch. And I said, young man, let me tell you something. Occasionally, scammers like you get somebody with brains on the phone. And let me tell you something. You should find a life. You should find God in your life. And you should, instead of calling somebody to scam somebody, you should be a witness for Christ. Now, what do you have to say? He said nothing and hung up. Anyway, let's go to the Lord in prayer. Almighty God, you're a mighty God. You're a powerful God. You have all the power. You have all the control. You can deal with us individually. You can deal with us collectively. You hear our prayers. You hear our moans and our groans and our griefs. You hear our laughter. You see our tears. You're always here. You're always available. You even come into our rooms. You put your arms around us and you hold us and you pull us close to you and we feel your presence and we know who you are and you know who we are. And we praise your wonderful name for the love that you have for each of us and for the love that you have collectively for all of us. And we praise your wonderful name. Pray, Lord, that you would be with this Rotary Club, be with the people in this club who have issues and people who have problems and people who have heartaches and people who have disappointments. And be with those who are sick and come into their rooms, lift them up into your arms and close to your bosom, heal them, comfort them, let them feel your love and your presence. Go with us this day and days to come. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
All right, please join me in saying the pledge to our flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Boy, test of things we say and do. 1, is it true? 2, fair to all concerned. 3, will good relationships. 4, will be to all concerned.
We got a couple of visitors today. First, Zach Benner, where'd you go? There you go. Zach's got a guest.
Yeah, I'd like to introduce my guest, Jeff Y. Am I on? Okay. So I'd like to introduce my guest, Jeff Y, potential member, and really excited to have him here. He's asked me a little bit about Rotary and knows a little bit of things about it. So I'll let you say some things.
Hi, my name's Jeff Fly. I recognize some faces here and really appreciate Zach inviting me. And I just really wanted to learn more about Rotary. Thanks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Larry Kain's got a special guest today. Here you go, Larry.
My special guest probably doesn't need any. Stand up. Stand up. Doesn't need any introduction. This is my bride, Sue, and she's here to check out because I told her this is the last thing I'd be doing with the golf tournament. She said, I got to be there to see that. Anyway, so here she is. Glad she's here.
That is all we have. Jane, all yours.
Awesome. So next we'll do Happy Bucks. Jay Evans is going to do Happy Bucks for us.
Right, Happy Bucks and Devin McClendon, would you like to go first?
Yeah.
Right. Take the podium, please.
I am happy for two reasons today, because neither one is here and I wanted to say. I am happy for two Rotarians because this week I realized that what wonderful people they are. And you guys know the first one, and that's Linus Sugis. I am happy that Linus is a member of our club because that guy does an enormous amount to keep us going. The other one, I just am very, very thankful that Jody Rawl is a member of our club. So I'm happy today for those two.
Right, way to start us off. Who else is happy? Larry?
I'm of course happy that my bride is here with me, but I'm more happy to let you hear the report we've got today on the golf tournament. I think you'll be quite pleased.
Well played, Larry. All right, who's next? All right. Sarah.
First of all, oh, here's $5. It's gonna be a minute. All right. First of all, I'm modeling the latest in fall footwear, everyone. I am extremely happy because we had such a wonderful showing and turnout of all of our Rotarians on Saturday. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everybody who came out. We had a great time. The looks on those children's faces as they got to go busting through the gate was worth every dollar, every hour, every moment that was there. So thank you for everyone for your support. And I would love to tell you I've got a really good story about this boot, and I don't, but when I do, I'll let you know. And lastly, well, there's two things. One, I'm extremely happy about MTSU beating Miami. Not gonna lie, that was huge. And then, of course, my Tennessee Vols finally beating Florida. That's my big excitement.
Thank you, Sarah. You know who was happy was those kids playing on the playground. That's who was happy. Who's next? Happy Bucks. Anybody else? Going once, going twice. Lastly, I'll throw in a buck and say, go Air Force, beat Navy tomorrow.
Hi, I'm happy to report that I have an older brother that is in an assisted living facility in Tampa, Florida. And when I heard from him this morning, they didn't even lose electricity. And I am just so thankful. And thank you for listening.
On that same note, I'm happy I have a cousin and his wife and family in Fort Myers. Some property damage, but everybody's good. So 2 young children. So thankful to the Lord for that. Thank you. Any other takers? Three.
Definition of a truism. Wasn't for Susie, Larry would be nothing.
And with that, Madam President.
Okay, couple of quick announcements before we get started with today's program that I know everyone's excited about. Please remember that this Wednesday is the last day to order your Purple Pinky donuts, which go to End Polio. You can also, there's also a way that you can contribute without having to deal with donuts and the associated calories. And you should have those in your email boxes. Let's see. Please don't forget that Saturday, October 8th is the day that our club goes to Waverly to volunteer for the food distribution. So Hunter sent an email out saying that last Wednesday was the deadline because we did order shirts for everybody. We ordered some extra shirts. So if you can make it to Waverly on Saturday, we will hook you up with the shirt. You know, the deadline was just so that we could have, a round number for shirts, but We do have extras. Please come. And then finally, the pop-up picnic lunch is this Monday. And if it rains, it will move to the following week. But that is, as everyone knows, in the parking lot there on Franklin Road across from Five Guys. And I think that's it. I think so let me do our Rotary minute right now real quickly. So this is a quote from the second. This is a quote from the second president of Rotary International. His name was Glenn Meade, and his term was from 1912 to 1913. A Rotary Club gives us an opportunity that no social, political, or specialized business club can do. It is strong on the human side. It stands for the individual, unfetters him, appeals to his originality, brings out his latent powers, and puts him at his best by extending him the full measure of his confidence and appealing to the best that is in him. Service, not self. Love that quote. Okay, and on that note, that service above self note, I'd like to introduce our speaker who really needs no introduction, Larry Kain.
First of all, I apologize to those late arrivals who didn't find much lunch. That shouldn't happen. I was a little worried when it first got here. I didn't think it looked like adequate amount, and it wasn't. So I apologize to you for that, and the caterer will know about that this afternoon. So apologize. So anyway, no, it was a caterer problem. I had my hat on today. So I guess you're surprised that it's me and I'm talking about the golf tournament. Sorry about last week. COVID raised its ugly head and got me, and it took me 5 days to get over it, but I'm fine now. So sorry about that. But I know you enjoyed Miss Tennessee, even though she was taller than I was. But other than that, that's good. So let's talk a little bit about why we have this event, just to remind everybody. Move this over. Y'all can please. Can you see, y'all see the board at all? Move your chairs around. You're in the wrong seat. Okay, so while we have this event, last year, okay, the BRC, so you tell Lennis is not here. I'm getting a little confused on things. 100% of our funds that we raise from the golf tournament goes to the BRCCF. And through last year, we'd raised $333,000 through the golf tournament, and that'll be increased this year. The net increase has happened every year. Now, remember, BRCCF last year gave out, Tom may correct me on this, but $125,000 plus $131,000 that went out. 75 of that went to the new playground, which was awesome. 30,000 went to some local nonprofits, about 15 local nonprofits. 30,000 went to our major partners, which you'll hear about in just a minute. And then 30,000 went to scholarships. So that's a lot of money that we gave out in the last year to people that needed it and people that deserved it. So that's where the golf tournament comes into play. So what made this tournament this year special compared to last year's tournament or the prior year tournaments? Well, it worked because Susie Lindsay is here, and Susie Lindsay is not here today. She had to go actually to a Rotary conference, but Susie is my kind of right-hand person. She puts together the whole volunteer program for that day, which is a big task, makes it all work. She was there 12 hours on our tournament day, and so she makes it go. And that's the kind of thing we have to have from everybody who wants to make successful events, is that kind of activity. It works because 81 of you guys sold sponsorships. 81, that's 75% of our club. So those 81 sponsorships are you're gonna see the result of that in just a minute. 32 of you came out and worked in the tournament, which is awesome. That's the most we've ever had. Now we're at a new venue this year at Nashville Golf, and it required a little more people power than we'd had at Brentwood Country Club. So, but 32 members came out and worked that day, and that was awesome. A minimum of 2 hours, and some of them worked 10 hours. It works because You sold 63 new sponsorships this year, sponsors who've never been involved in our tournament before, 63. And that's awesome, but you're going to see why we had to have that, okay? It works because Rod Freeman and Lewis Rankin showed up at 9 o'clock that morning, hopped in a golf cart and spent 2 hours going around the golf course putting up our hole-in-one signs. That was just the two of them out there early and working. That's the kind of thing we have to make it work. It works because Michael Heineman, as he told me, discovered the golf tournament. He sold 3 sponsorships this year. He called and contacted 10 of his clients about getting sponsors, and that's where he got these sponsors. That's what we all have to do. And Michael admitted to me that he had not been real involved in the tournament until this year, and then he got into it big time. So that's the kind of attitude and approach you have to make this work. It worked because the A team, as you will see, had another awesome year. Andrews and Tanksley together are pretty dynamic. It works. Is Jim Villers here? He's not, is he? It works because the Villers family, yes, Jamie and Jim, went out of their way to help. Jamie actually volunteered to pick up our lunch and bring it to us from Corky's, and then she stayed after that and worked all afternoon. So the two of them together, a family affair, that's what makes it work. It works because Keeley Hall, Beth Dormany, Bob Searcy, and Michelle LaFollette all pulled extra shifts that day, signed up for one and ended up working 2 or 3 more. So that's great volunteerism, and it's what makes our tournament a success. And it works because Lennis Sugis prepared 7 presentations for me to present to you this year, including this one today. His creativity and his organization are beyond belief. And I hate that he's not here today to see all this, but he's got a family medical issue and couldn't be here, but he's awesome. And really, to sum it all up, it works because of you. It's not anything I do. It's not the golf tournament. It's because of what you do as a member of this club and how you help us raise the money to make it work. We worked 6 months on this. Y'all realize that. We started last February, and it's not easy. It's hard, and it's time consuming sometimes, but 6 months is a long time to see the result that you're going to see us have. But it works because y'all do that. So anyway, today I'm going to celebrate you and the members and what you guys have done. We'll go over some numbers here, kind of give you an idea of where we were on prior years versus this year. We'll recognize the role that the major players in our club played this year. So our 3 major partners that we identified through the BRCCF for this year, in Slavery, Tennessee, Alice Hill Nature Sanctuary, and the After Breast Cancer Program. Each one of those major partners, I think, Tom, will get $10,000 this year, $10,000. That's about what we've done every year to our major sponsors. We started this about 4 years ago because we had some people say, well, where's the money going? And we said, well, it's going to all our charities and our nonprofits. Well, who is that? So we decided to put a face to it. So every year we nominate 3 of our nonprofits that we work with and make them our major sponsors. So those folks will reap the benefit of our tournament. This year we had something happen we've never had happen before. We had a hole-in-one at our tournament. Now, those of you who are non-golfers have to understand this is rare, and especially in a tournament, and especially in an amateur tournament. It was on hole number 6 at Nashville Golf. It's 165 yards. Ronnie Siegenthaler, you see Ronnie there. Maybe y'all might know him. He's the athletic director at Nashville Christian School, but he made the hole-in-one. It was a big deal, and it won him $10,000. Now, that $10,000 is a trip to Pebble Beach for 3 days, 3 rounds of golf, staying in the inn there, and he has his airfare paid for, and he has some spending money out there. So he's going to take his daughter with him, who is a college golfer, and they're going to go out there for 3 days. So he won that. It's the first time we've had one, and that's really exciting. We have big gifts on all of our par 3 holes, and every year you hope somebody's going to make a hole-in-one. Well, we had that happen this year, and you can see Lewis Rankin down here on the picture was his team that put together, and they got to witness it, and it was quite an exciting event that day. So our website, I always want to kind of brag about our website. We don't use it enough. We use it a lot, but we don't use it enough. We raised $42,000 was paid through our website this year for our sponsors. We had 138 online signups this year on the website. website. And we had 824 hits on the website during the 6 months. That's about 126 hits a month. So we get a lot of activity on this, but we don't use it the way we can. This website will allow you, I prepare a lot of invoices every year for people who call and say, hey, I need to send so-and-so an invoice. Well, if they can get their sponsor to sign up on the website, they can get their own invoice. It'll be printed and sent right to them immediately when they sign up. There's all kind of information on there about the tournament that they can get to. So we're going to hope to get better use of it. It's grown every year that we've had it, but it's still not, I don't think, where it should be as far as how we use that website. So here are some, can y'all see it all? You're seeing behind me. Historical comparison, and there's a lot of numbers up there and a lot of things, but just kind of show you how we've done through the years, et cetera, starting in 2017. I'm going to point out just a few of these. Look at 2019. We had 165 hole sponsors. So this year we had 107. So that's kind of interesting. Now the offset of that is that major sponsors, right under that, we had 48 sold in 2019, which at that time for us in our third year was really good. This year we had 86. So that's more money from those sponsors. So that kind of offsets the fact that we didn't get a lot of host sponsors. Number of players pretty consistent. Number of workers pretty consistent. This year up a little bit, as I explained. Members participating. Now this is participating means you sold a sponsorship. Okay. Look at 2019. We had 90 members participate that year out of 100 and whatever our membership was then, 108 or 7, pretty steady. This year we had 81. So, and last year we had 80. And the COVID year we had 76, which wasn't, we didn't know what was going to happen that year, but last 2 years, when you compare them to 1990, was pretty disappointing. We had 56 Rotary related sponsorships. That means the company you work for, the company you own sponsored. We had 36 in 2019. So a little improvement there, I guess. So I guess the bottom line to all this is, it seems to me like when we have 90 people participate instead of 80, we do better. I mean, I don't know, but that seems to be a pretty known line there. So anyway, good year, everything, all the numbers, none of the numbers. I guess the only number that bothers me, Larry, what bothers you about these numbers is the whole sponsors, 107. That for that's our most inexpensive sponsorship, should be the easiest to sell. And yet though we've dropped the last 2 years pretty significantly down. So hopefully that will change. But everything else up there looks pretty good if you just think a little bit about that 2019 year. So every year we have team captains who help us put it together. Team captains this year are Tom Carr. Tom Carr, thank you so much, man. Appreciate what you do. Got a little gift for you here. Sherry Koss, is Sherry here? She's not. Jennifer, I know Jennifer Rand's here. Jennifer. Jason Halsey, good team captain. Thank you, sir. Greg Irwin is not here. Dale Llewellyn is here. Thank you, Dale. Hunter McCarty is here somewhere. There he is. All right. Jonathan Merck is not here. Steve Huff is out of town. Bert Bradford is here. So these individuals, let's give these guys a round of applause. They are my go-to when I need to get information out to everybody in the club or need a specific problem addressed with a sponsor or something like that. They're my go-to folks. Each one of them has between 9 and 10, 11 members, club members on their teams. Some of them work it real hard and some of them don't work it real hard. But if you work it real hard, you'll see the results of what Mr. Bradford got. But anyway, it's great form of communication for us, and they take a lot of emails from me during the year and a lot of phone calls from me, and I appreciate having them on board as my team. So thank you, captains. Now look at the team competition results. I'm just going to do the top 5 teams to show you how it works. So Hunter McCarty's team raised $9,700. They had 90% participation on their team, which is good. That means I think they had 9 out of 10 players, members participate. Steve Huff's team raised $11,800 and they had 80% of their team participate. Jennifer's team, Jennifer Ruann's team, raised $12,750 and she had 90% participate, which is excellent. Tom Carr's team raised $14,100. They had 82% participation, so a good team there. And our number one team, Bert Bradford's team, $16,400. 80% participation. Total of those 5 teams is $64,000 of our money that we raised that year. Just those 5 teams. Right. And then, of course, it wouldn't be fair not to show the A team, Mr. Andrews. A team only raised $51,000 between them. And 44 sponsorships between Jared and Curry. Now, come on, think about that a little bit. Okay, so that's our teams. Top sales team was the Bradford team. Quick rundown of their Michael Kaplan obviously had a great year. Bert Bradford, Bart King, Sheila, Rick Finke, Richard Dickerson, Sana, and Ted. Total of 16-4. What we do for the winning team, they get $100 for every participant they had. So they had 8 participants this year, so they get $800, and they will give that to the charity of their choice. So Bert will get with his team and come up with a charity or charities that you want to donate that to. So our money continues to go out to people that we can help by doing this one. This is where I wish Susie was here. This is the volunteer sheet. As you can see, it's pretty long. 32 people work in many different spots. You can see the list out there of everybody that participated. I'm not going to read all those to you, but I would like to just point out a couple of things. You'll see the first name up there is Jamie Villers, and I mentioned Jamie earlier. And all I asked, well, actually, Jamie wanted to know how she could help, and I asked her if she could pick the lunch up. And she said, sure, I'll do that. So she picked the lunch up, and then as you'll see, if you drop down, you see Jamie Villers again. Well, she decided to run the shuttle service to get people out to the holes. And so she did that. And if you drop down about halfway down there in the middle, you'll see at 12:30, she worked on a hole in one from 12:30 to 3 o'clock. So Jamie put in about 6 hours for us as the spouse of a member. And that's just awesome, I think. Jim actually came out and did some help and helped her out, I believe, a little bit. Again, I've mentioned the people that, huh? Oh, is she? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, cool. Anyway, I mentioned the other ones that have worked multiple time slots in there. And again, it's awesome to think that Susie puts all that together and gets all that and stays there all day and makes sure everybody's where they should be. So thank you to Susie again for that. Okay, Chief, you're big time to shine here. Every year we have the Patriot Cup competition. And this is a competition between the fire department and the police department over just one simple thing: who has the lowest score. So for the fourth year in a row, it says police department. So I guess you guys want what we do on that, we have a sponsor for those two teams, and that's Southeast Ventures this year. They sponsor the Patriot Cup, and that's a fun competition between those guys. They have a great time coming out and playing. Okay, let's get down to some really serious kind of stuff here. Financial results. Our goal for this year was to make $100,000, not gross 100, but make $100,000. Just as a reminder, last year we raised $138,990 and we made $94,152. So our goal this year was to break the $100,000, get $100,000. We should be able to do that. $5,800 would do it, so it shouldn't be a problem. So this year we raised $136,630, about $2,400 less than we did last year. So is that good or bad? I mean, it doesn't sound too good. What do you think about it? And we made $95,502. So not bad. we made a little bit more than we did last year. We didn't raise as much money as we did last year. We got some expense cuts this year, which helped that number. So, you know, is that good? Yes. Is that what we go for? No, we didn't make our goals. So, but there may be another side to this story. Mr. Andrews, would you come up here, please? So, Mr. Andrews, who is, you know, is part of the A team, Mr. Andrews calls me one day, oh, I don't know, 3 months ago, maybe. And he says, I got a great lead. And he said, I think I'm going to be able to get a sponsorship from Dollar General Store. I said, well, that's awesome. He said, yeah, Cal Turner is a really good friend of mine. And said, I was talking to him, we're going to have lunch. And I just mentioned to him if he'd get one of our premium hold sponsors, which is $1,000. And he said, sure, he'd think he'd do that. So I said, well, that's awesome, man. You got $1,000. That's great. So they go to lunch and they have lunch. And then Curry calls me that afternoon and he says, are you sitting down? I said, yeah. He said, well, I met with Cal and we had lunch, and said he pulls out a check and hands it to me. He said, here's my check for the Rotary Club. And so Curry looks at it and he looks back at Cal and he says, are you sure? He said, yeah, I love what Rotary does. And I love you. And I want to do something that's good for the club. Curry is looking at a check for $25,000. Right. $25,000. So thanks to this guy and his relationship.
Can I say something?
Yeah, hold on just a minute. And his relationships with people in our city. And he's not afraid to ask. He just asked Cal if he'd sponsor $1,000 hold. And $24,000 later, we got 25 grand. So go ahead.
I just wanted to mention one thing. Larry and I go back a few years, and in 1982, I was president of the Chamber of Commerce in Brentwood. And Larry and I started the Brentwood Pear Fest, the event tournament. It was a fundraiser over at Maryland. What's the manor? Maryland Manor, to benefit the Brentwood High School, which was brand new that year. So we raised a lot of money, and it all went to the library and the band. So, but Larry and I have been working together for 40 years this year. Jeez. And I didn't realize it until I started going back through some of my information on that. And it's been really a good run, because we've developed a good friendship, and we've developed a lot of relationships with a lot of different people, including our chief of police, who tries to have me arrested every so often. In fact, one time I'm driving home into Fountainhead subdivision. Here's this unmarked car, and I'm going over the speed limit, obviously. And here Jeff gets out of the car. Gotcha. It's true. It's true. He took after our former two chiefs of police. And Jay, you can make a note of that. If I ever get another ticket, I still have to pay it. In any event, thank you. I just wanted you to know I appreciate it. Thanks.
So with that little bit of information, which is pretty surprising, let's take a look. Here we are, 2007. Well, okay. No surprise now. That jumped our gross income to 161,630. Our net income for this tournament, 120,550. And as I showed you, we wouldn't have made it without the 25, but the heck with that. We got the 25 and we made it. So it can be done, and it can be done regularly. Just so you'll know, since we started the golf tournament 6 years ago, the golf tournament has turned over $459,774 to the BRCCA. So. Okay, now let's see why we got this and who made this happen in our club. This is all about y'all right here. Laura Troop, are you here? You're not here, are you? Okay. Okay, let me start that. Special recognition, Laura Troop. I just put Laura's name up there for one reason. Laura's a brand new member. And when we started announcing, talking about the club, about the tournament, Laura calls me or came by and saw me and said, you know, I run a golf tournament for Agape. And I said, really? And she said, yeah, I've been running it for 2 years. And so she said, I know pretty much what you're doing. I can't help you because mine's going on mine's 3 days before yours and I can't help you, but I'll do what I can. And I said, well, okay, I appreciate that. And lo and behold, within about 3 weeks time, Laura turns in 2 sponsors to me for $700, brand new, been in the club a month. And she's got 2 sponsors for $700 and she's running another golf tournament. So I just wanted to recognize her. I thought that was really cool that a brand new member would step in and do that. And especially under the circumstances that she was working under. So I just wanted to recognize Laura. I know she's not here today, but okay. See this championship list here. And you can see it from the top to the bottom. So I've got something for everybody on that list. This is our top 25 givers. Roger Reed and Bob Sinclair together at Trust Corps have been sponsors every year, anywhere from $2,500 to $1,500. And they're not, I don't think either one of them are here, but thank you for what they do. Devin got $1,500 this year. Thank you, sir. Rodney Lund, not here, $1,500. Charles Grumman, not here, $1,500. Steve Grissom's here. Steve got lively this year, did 4 sponsors, totaling $1,500. So that was excellent for Steve, and we appreciate that. Sarah Johnson, $1,500. She's a good raiser every year, gets a couple of sponsors for us. George Johnson got 4 sponsors this year, $1,500. And we appreciate George. He's a worker on tournament day and he plays in the tournament. Has to play with me, unfortunately, but he plays in the tournament and he's a good fundraiser for us. Fogelberg's not here, but he had 2 for $1,750. Jack Massari is here, $1,850. Jack, thank you so much. Jack got us the sponsorship from Middle Tennessee Electric. If you didn't get a towel, they're on the table for anybody that sold a sponsorship. They're free. Pick one up on your way out. We had some extras left over, but that's Jack's sponsorship that he got for us. Steve Huff's not here. He was the team captain. He had 3 sponsors for $1,850. Jennifer Shepard's not here. She had 3 sponsors for $2,050. Keely's here. Keely had 3 sponsors for $2,050. Hunter's here. He was a team captain, had 2 sponsors for $2,350. Michael Heineman, as I mentioned earlier, stepped up this year, got 3 sponsors, $2,350. Thank you, Michael. Michael Barrett, 1 sponsor for $2,500, a new sponsor for us this year who we're going to work on a little bit, thinking that we may get a bigger sponsorship from them next year. Michael just made a call on them and a friend of his works there and asked them and bang, they gave us a $2,500 scoreboard sponsor. Dale Llewellyn did another great job this year, 4 sponsors sold, $2,550, and he was a team captain, did a good job in that, and we appreciate that. You're gonna have to walk all the way to the other side of the room now. Oh, you did? Okay. Lewis Rankin, as I mentioned earlier, came out that morning and helped us put some stuff out on the golf course. Lewis got 4 sponsors, $3,950. That's excellent. He played in the tournament. He's a very valuable member for our tournament. Jeff Talley's not here. Jeff had the one big sponsor, I guess you'd say. He got $4,000, which is actually a $5,000 sponsorship because it's an annual sponsorship that $1,000 went to the Pancake Day and $4,000 went to the golf tournament. That's from LBMC. Jane Covington, that's you. Jane Covington got $5,000 from CSX, a sponsorship we get every year. It's just wonderful to get that. Tom Carr, another team captain, had 4 sponsors for $6,850. So a great job there. Some guy named Kain. Jared Tanksley. Jared, come on up here. You got his other stuff.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
All right. So everybody knows Jared, and everybody knows that he's kind of the kingpin of numbers. 26 sponsors by himself. 26 sponsors. And I say this is just remarkable to me, but you remember probably the second or third year we'd had the tournament, and he had been leading us every year, you know, maybe not 26, but maybe 20 or something like that. And so I brought him up here at this kind of meeting. We were closing out, and I said, tell us, you want to say something about how you do this? And Jared stood there from there, and he said the famous words that y'all see all the time. I just ask. I just ask. I go in a restaurant to eat, and I ask them if they'll buy a sponsorship. You know, it's not selling. I mean, it is selling, but it's not selling. He's just asking. So you got anything, has that changed at all? No? Okay. 26 sponsors, $9,750. Mr. Kaplan, where are you? Come up here. You got your card, right? She gave you a card. Okay. Thank you. $11,500. Michael's goal this year was to beat Curry. Well, and he kept asking me, he kept selling sponsorships. He go, how am I doing next to Curry? I said, well, you're doing okay. I mean, you know. And then it got down toward the end, and he said, how am I doing toward Curry? And I said, you ain't gonna make it, dude. I mean, that's all there is to it. So anyway, Mr. Andrews up there at the top, $41,250, 18 sponsorships. I don't know. Okay, so I figured you had about everything to do with golf and eating out and all that stuff. So I bought you some stuff that's really special, okay?
Did Susie approve it? Or?
Yes, Susie approved all of this. First of all, I got you some Titans golf balls. Now you can't hold all that, just put it up there. Titans golf ball. How about that? No. I got you a golf ball alignment tool. Now, Curry, if you hadn't played with Curry, Curry is a fabulous putter. I mean, he is really good. Even today, he's a really good putter. This is going to help you even more because you can put your lines on there, got a little pin. See, that's really nice, isn't it? You don't have one of those, do you? Okay, there you go. And then I got you some Predators tees. Now, those are rare. You don't find many Nashville Predators tees.
Are they plastic or wood?
They are plastic. No, they may be wood. I don't know, but they're Predators tees. Then what else we got? Oh, I got you because I know sometimes you get a little tired and a little aching. So I got you some BioFreeze. Cool the pain gel. So you can, you know, you start getting that ache, you can put it on your arm, whatever. Then I got you a Arnold Palmer ball marker, a really nice Arnold Palmer ball marker.
That's cool.
It's even got his name on it. Look, Arnold Palmer. So that's your ball marker. It's really nice. Now that goes with a really nice Arnold Palmer red towel. And that'll look good on your blue golf bag. It's a really nice towel, Arnold Palmer, and that goes with your ball marker. Okay. And I know you like to read, don't you?
Once in a while.
Once in a while. Okay, well, this is a really cool book, brand new book out called Golf Course Called America. And it's by Tom Kain, who's a well-known writer, and it's all about going across America playing golf.
Did he personally sign it?
He did not personally sign it. I couldn't get hold of him. So, but anyway, I don't know what else I could give Mr. Andrews to thank him enough for what he does, but I thought this might be a little fun stuff for you to take home.
I'm just happy to be your friend.
Well, there you go. Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Okay, I've got. All right, this is just some extra, not extra, this is some special gifts that I want to give out some folks who I think have gone beyond the call every year, if not this year, but every year. Susie Lindsay's the first one. Susie's not here. The next one is Jamie who, thanks to Jamie Villard, I thought that was really cool what she did this year to come out and spend all day like that. The last one, or not the last one, the next one is for George Johnson. George has been, as I told, he sold 4 sponsors this year. Every year, George has either 2 to 3 to 4 sponsors sale. Every year, George comes out there like at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning and helps me put stuff on the carts and get the cart set up and all that kind of stuff. And every year he plays. And so I just, I wish everybody did that. It'd be wonderful if they did. So thank you, George. This next is for Steve Passon. Mr. Passon is our treasurer, as you know, and he has to put up with all my numbers and all my calls. We spend a lot of time on the phone together talking about credit card payments and all kinds of things that go on for the tournament. So thank you for that. The last couple are just the people from that list of workers who I kind of picked out that seem to work the longest time. Keeley Hall, looks like he put in about 5.5 hours that day working extra shifts. So there's something extra for Keeley. And then Bob Searcy also did the same thing, worked 2 or 3 shifts and was 5-something hours, had his son out there, Clay, that morning and worked. And appreciate what you did, Bob. Thank you. So best year yet. Again, it's all about y'all. Thank you so much for what you did. But we can still do better. I say that every year and you think, well, we made $120,000. Well, we can do better. I don't have a plan. I don't have, Linus made me a slide up that said goals for next year. Well, I'm not going to set a goal for next year yet. We had 81 people participate and get us what we got this year. That's 75% of our members. 25% of our members chose not to be involved for whatever numerous reasons, and that's okay. But just think back to that one slide I showed you about 2019, and where we had 90 members, and the numbers we did back then, which is only our 3rd year, so we were still rookies at that point with it. So if we'd had 90 members this year participating, we'd have easily made $100,000 without Curry's help. We'd have easily made that $100,000. So I guess my goal for next year is to get more people involved in the tournament working, helping us raise the money. And remember, that's what this is all about. This is our major fundraiser. And we've put $400 and something thousand in BRCCF's hands in 6 years. And that money has all gone out. And that's what Rotary is all about, if I understand it right. It's better for everybody if we do this. So I want to give Tom some money for the next couple of years. Hopefully more, and yeah, and we'll get that put out. And it's always fun to work on this, and it's always exciting to see how it goes along. And this year was a great year for us, so we should all be very happy. Next year we're going to do better. And I've got a meeting with someone here soon that has a kind of a different format for a golf tournament that I'd not heard of before. And it involves fundraising. So I'm going to meet with them and just see if that would make sense for us to do it. I like the idea. I think it's really clever, and it's not something I've seen done before. So we may make a little change in the way we run the tournament and what we do in the tournament. But that's just going to be for me to find out. But anyway, thank you all so much for what you do. Thank you, the 81 who sold. I really appreciate that. Thank you, all the workers. Alan, I should have mentioned you. Alan got 2 sales this year. Let's hear it. That's the first 2 Alan's ever had. Yeah. And he's the classic story. He tells me he's going to get a sponsor this year. That's what he promised me. So he has lunch with one of his buddies. Now, this is his good buddy. And he says, hey, Alan, he says, hey, we're having this golf tournament, and would you maybe be a sponsor for my golf? And the guy says, well, yeah, sure. What is it? He's $350. Oh, yeah, I'll do that. I'll be a whole sponsor. Alan can't wait. Alan said, I got a whole sponsor. I said, yes. You just asked, didn't you? He said, yeah, I asked this buddy of mine. And he said, yeah, I'll do it. I said, great. So Alan goes to lunch about 3 or 4 weeks, a month, I don't know, later, with this same guy and a couple of his other buddies. And they're all having a big lunch somewhere and probably drinking, but I don't know. Anyway, they're having lunch, and so Alan says something to the guy who bought the sponsorship. He says, hey, I want to thank you for buying that. The club made a big deal out of it, and all this stuff. And so this other guy sitting there says, well, what are you talking about? He said, oh, it's golf tournament, and Bill bought a sponsorship from me. He said, you never asked me. And so Alan goes, would you want to buy one too? Yeah, I'll buy one from you. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll buy $350. So Alan walks into his 2 sponsorships from his buddies who he never really thought about asking before, but that's how it has to work. Now, next year, you're going to ask those same 2 guys again, right? For sure. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all very much. Great job.
Larry acts like it's, only because of everyone else that we have these successful golf tournaments, but it's really because of Larry, as everyone knows. So thank you so much, Larry. Anyway, hopefully Curry already has his lunch set with Cal for next year. Go ahead and get that on the calendar. And everybody, please do remember to help put away the chairs and the tables when you leave. And if there's nothing else for the good of Rotary, we're adjourned. Oh, I'm not.